I just heard it again the other day, someone on television talking about unconditional love. Well, we heard that a lot in television, in school, religion, and a lot of other places. But there is no such thing as unconditional love. There's no such thing as unconditional anything. Everything has a context. By definition, something is unconditional means that there are no boundaries around it, that there is no context involved in understanding this thing, this concept. Now, for people when they talk about this, usually are referring to like a mother's or father's love for his or her children, perhaps a friend, in terms of how he feels about another person, or about how a dog feels about his or her master. But it doesn't take a lot of thought to realize that what they're talking about simply doesn't exist. Take a simple case with a dog. Now, dogs don't make a lot of judgment about people. They don't care usually what you look like or what you sound like or anything along that line. However, try beating a dog every day, yelling and screaming at it, depriving it of food, abusing it in as many different ways as possible. Now tell me how long you think it'll be when that animal still exhibits love towards its master rather than anything even approaching what we would call unconditional love. Now there's conditions on everything. When you look at a parent and his or her child, there may be not a lot of conditions, but it's one condition for sure is that it's his or her child. If you felt the same way about every child in the entire earth as you do about your own child, then there's something sadly wrong with you. You're sick in the head. A parent loves his or her child because it's his or her child. It came from either genetically from them or because the parents adopted the child or something along that line. But even in that case, I can imagine scenarios, far-fetched perhaps, but scenarios in which a son or a daughter committed such heinous acts of evil that even a parent would lose anything approaching love. What if your son raped your baby daughter and then murdered you, or murdered your husband or you, I guess, and did something equally heinous? To think that anyone would still love an evil creature like that is beyond the realm of imagination. But again, the wider thing that is at stake here, which most people don't understand, that everything in the universe has context, has boundaries, has limits. Even the universe itself is not infinite. We can talk about infinite as a potential, but the universe is what they say is unbounded but limited. Just like the surface of a globe, or like the Earth, you can trace a line and keep going forever and ever without anything unbounded, but it is limited. The surface area of the Earth is limited. The surface of any sphere is limited. Now, that's a physical example, but if something has no boundaries, if the universe or human beings or love or God or whatever, then that thing doesn't exist. Everything in the universe has conditions, has boundaries. To pretend that it doesn't is a simple way for people trying to avoid the reality of what love is or concepts in general, and to try and live in a fantasy world. But don't get me started.